So Colby Covington will be fighting Robbie Lawler on August the 3rd. This is the battle camp. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll find it in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. This one caught me by surprise a little bit. I saw on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, the ESPN MMA page posted verbal agreement reached for a fight between Covington and Lawler. And I thought to myself, okay, mate. Do you know what I mean? The amount of times the official UFC page, ESPN MMA, all of these kind of sites affiliated with the UFC have put out quote unquote fake fucking news about fights being agreed, or these guys are fighting on this date, and then one of the fighters will come out and say, no, I haven't agreed to this. That's not happening. Do you know what I mean? Ariel Helwani tweets straight after, the UFC may have jumped the gun on this one. I've just spoken to sources and there's no bout agreement in place. That's not his accent, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. So when that post came out yesterday, I just kind of took it with a pinch of salt. But then I've just seen Covington in an interview with Submission Radio, those Australian guys, and it seems like it's a done deal. They're fighting on August the 3rd. And the welterweight division for me right now is in a bit of a funny spot because you don't have, to my mind, and I'm not saying in my opinion, I'm just saying from what the UFC are putting out there, if that makes sense. You don't have an out-and-out number one contender. So for me, obviously depending on Usman's recovery time and when he'll be ready to fight again, and I think it's going to be around November time, you've got Ben Askren fighting in a couple of weeks against Masvidal, and you've got Covington fighting Lawler in August, early August, which will basically put them both in line to be able to have a bit of a break, get back into camp, and then fight in November, whenever it is, or at the end of the year, let's just say, against Usman. And the thing that I've noticed people talking about is who deserved the shot, Askren or Covington. Askren or Covington. Now, in my opinion, I think Covington deserves the title shot just because of the simple fact, not even because of who he's fought and who he's beat, just the simple fact that Covington was the interim champion. Now, I'm not a fan of his style in the ring, in the cage, although I respect his abilities. I'm not a fan of the character that he plays outside the cage because it's too fake for me. And it's funny that he keeps talking about fake news because the character that he plays is fake. You can notice little pockets where he falls out of character and he's actually himself. And then he kind of remembers and he goes back to make America or make UFC great again or whatever it is that he says. But yeah, so the point I was actually trying to make before I started dissecting Covington's fucking psychoanalyzing Covington, the point I was trying to make is because he got that interim title, I think that automatically makes you deserving of a title shot. I think it's such a big error, such a big mistake the UFC have done by giving the status of interim champion such little value that they've shot themselves in the foot. We're now in a position where fighters don't even want to fight for an interim title because they know it means nothing to the organisation. Do you know what I mean? And they could have had a good thing going with this interim title if they made it mean something. If they made it great again. They need to make it great again. Just like Covington's making the UFC great again. But if we just look at the guys that are involved, like everyone's talking about Askren and Covington, like I said before, but everyone's forgetting about Masvidal. Because if Masvidal beats Ben Askren, he's beaten the best quote-unquote grappler in the welterweight division in Askren, and he's beaten the best quote-unquote striker in Darren Till in the welterweight division. And for me, that's the most impressive string of victories out of the guys in the race for that welterweight title. And Covington, if he beats Robbie Lawler, I don't even know if that's enough for him at this stage. Like, for example, if he beats Robbie Lawler in a decision and Ben Askren just grapples Masvidal for 3 rounds and he beats Masvidal, like, we're kind of still back at square one. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no clear-cut guy saying, no one's staking the claim for I deserve that title shot. And the dark horse in all of this is the winner of the Nate Diaz and Pettis fight, because Pettis beat Wonderboy, and if Nate Diaz beats Pettis with his marketability, with the fact that for me, he's the biggest draw out of all of them, and I'm including Usman in all of this as well. If Nate Diaz was to beat Pettis, would that propel him into a position to fight Usman for the belt at the end of the year? Interesting times for that division. Very interesting times. But yeah, that's kind of... I haven't really, like... I haven't really told anyone... I haven't really told you guys anything here. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Like I said at the start of the video, there's no one really staking a claim as the deserving guy for the title shot. And there's so many different people involved in this. For me, there's 3 different fights that will affect who gets that title shot. And like I said, it's like I've just listed them out for you, but I'm not going to do it again. But you guys get the picture. Like, the next couple of months will be important for this division. And here's another scenario that I haven't mentioned yet. If Ben Askren does win and Covington wins, then don't be surprised if they're in and dare I say it, an interim title fight in a couple of months' time, kind of, who knows, October or something like that, November, if they go back to Madison Square Garden and Usman's not ready yet, and they fight each other for that slot to be the #1 contender. Let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the subscribe button, the like button, the share button. And I tell you what, if you sat here listening to me for nearly 7 whole minutes and you haven't fucked off yet, then hit the subscribe button. I might put out another video where I can make you listen for 7 minutes. I'll get you guys on the next one.